of controlled release drug delivery system. How these controlled drug delivery systems are prepared and what are its advantages. Okay. The next topic, that is a rationale and factors in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. So what is actually the rationale? Rationale means it is the reason why we can prepare controlled release drug delivery systems and how we can select the drug in the designing of controlled drug delivery system. So that are the factors, which are the various factors that is related to the various parameter or the characteristics of the drug that comes under the factors that may be useful in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. So what is the rationale behind this controlled release drug delivery system? The rationale is, or the objective of this controlled release drug delivery system, it is to optimize. Okay, we have to optimize. Optimize means what? It may be improved to optimize the various characteristics. So which are the characteristics? These are the biopharmaceutical characteristics, pharmacokinetic characteristics, and the pharmacodynamic characteristics of a drugs. Okay, so these characteristics should be optimized. So why? So that we can utilize the drug in the maximum, okay, and reduce its side effect, and we can better control the disease condition using a shortest period of time and by using the smallest quantity of the drug, and that may be administered by the suitable routes of administration. So what here we are discussing, so we have to optimize all these parameters that is related to the biopharmaceutical characteristics. So it is a physicochemical characteristics of the drug. Then pharmacokinetic characteristics of the drug. Pharmacokinetic, you know, that is the ADME characteristics. Okay, and the pharmacodynamic properties. So pharmacodynamic means that is the actions of the drug. So all these parameters that should be optimized so that we can prepare such a drug delivery system which gives you a better therapeutic effect using a smallest quantity of the dose of the drug. Okay, and that may be administered by the suitable routes of administration. This is the rationale behind the formulation or fabrication of a controlled release drug delivery systems. Is it clear? Then selection of the drug. So on what basis we have to select the drug for controlled drug delivery system? So these are the some characteristics in that it is not possible to select such drugs in the controlled drug delivery system. So these are the some parameters that should not suitable one in the selection of the drug for the formulation of controlled release drug delivery system. One of the example is that drug candidate. Candidate means what? Before, a simple example is we can prepare the biodata. You know that biodata for the marriage purpose. Okay, so what this biodata indicates? This biodata consists of all the parameters that related to the particular persons. Okay, height, color, odor, color, religion, all these things may be present. Okay, so similarly, each and every drug is having the drug profile. According to that, we can know various parameters of that particular drugs. Okay, so these are the certain parameter of the drug that should not be selected, or that that should not be a good candidate in the designing of controlled release drug delivery systems. So here, if the drug is having the short elimination half-life. Elimination half-life means what? It is nothing but a duration of action. Okay, elimination half-life, T half of the drug. If the T half of the drug is very small, it is up to 1 hour. Okay, so such candidate is not suitable in the designing of controlled drug delivery system. Why? Because if the duration of action is only 1 hour, okay, so large amount of dose may be required in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. So therefore, short elimination half-life of the drug is not a suitable candidate. Then long elimination half-life of the drug, it is also not a suitable candidate in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. Why? Because if the drug is having long elimination half-life, suppose 24 hours or 30 hours, so already such drug is having the long elimination half-life. So there is no need to prepare the control release drug delivery system, because already this drug is having a long elimination half-life. Okay. Then narrow therapeutic index. So as you know that therapeutic index, it is the ratio. It is the ratio of lethal dose to the LD50 to ED50 effective dose. Okay. So those drugs which are having the narrow therapeutic index, it is not a suitable candidate for designing in the controlled release drug delivery system. Okay. Again, those drugs which are having the poor absorption. Okay. So some drugs are poorly absorbed. So it does not give the more or maximum bioavailability. So that's why those drugs which are poor, having the poor absorption, it is not a good candidate in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system. Again, those drugs which are actively absorbed. Active absorption means what? There is a requirement of certain energy for the transportation, that is the absorption purpose. Okay. Mostly the drugs may be transported or may be absorbed by the passive diffusions. So those drugs which are passively diffused, they are a good candidate. But those drugs which are actively absorbed means there may be the requirement of certain energy, or there may be the requirement of certain carrier for the transportation of the drug. That is the carrier mediated transport. Okay. Such type of drugs are not suitable candidate in the design of controlled drug delivery system. Again, those drugs which undergo the extensive first pass metabolism, as we know that metabolism, okay, and extensive first pass metabolism, or it is called as a first pass effect. That is, what is first pass effect? So first pass effect, it is nothing but the drug before entering into the systemic circulation, it may get degraded. That is called as a first pass effect. So those drugs which are extensively undergo the first pass metabolism. Extensively means maximum amount of the dose of the drug is get metabolized before entering into the systemic circulation. So such drugs are not a suitable candidate in the design of controlled release drug delivery system. So these are the certain parameters or certain factors that is not suitable for the designing of drug in the controlled drug delivery system. So there are these factors are included in the certain headings. Okay. So detailed factors that should be considered or that should be studied while designing of controlled drug delivery system. So before design, suppose I want to prepare a controlled release formulation of aspirin tablet. Okay. I want to prepare controlled release aspirin tablet. So whether this aspirin drug, it is suitable in the designing of controlled drug delivery system or not. That first I have to know. Okay. So how could I know whether the drug is suitable or not? The drug is having its drug profile. Okay. And in this drug profile, this drug is having all these characteristics. Which characteristics? These biopharmaceutical characteristics, pharmacokinetic characteristics, and the pharmacodynamic characteristics. So by studying all these characteristics which are available in the drug profile, okay, then I can say that this drug is suitable or the drug is not suitable in the formulation of controlled release drug delivery system. Is it clear? Okay. So the performance of this drug in the controlled drug delivery system, that is depend on two parameters, that is the release from the formulation, by which mechanism the drug may be released from the formulations, and second one, the movement of the drug within the body during its passage to the site of action. Okay, from administration to the site of action, how does this drug may get move into the body, that determines the performance of controlled release drug delivery systems. Okay, and this is the first characteristics of a drug, that is biopharmaceutical properties. Okay, so these all properties we should know, and on this property we can say that the drug is suitable or the drug is not suitable in the designing of controlled release drug delivery systems. Okay, so which are these parameters? In the biopharmaceutical parameters, molecular weight of the drugs. Okay, then aqueous solubility of the drug, then partition coefficient, as we know the partition coefficient of the drugs, then pKa of the drug and the ionization of the drug at the particular pH, whether the drug is available in a ionized form or non-ionized form. Then drug stability, whether the drug is stable into the particular environment or not, gastric environment or not. Then mechanism and site of actions. And another one is, that is the biopharmaceutical aspects of the routes of administration. So what these biopharmaceutical aspects of routes of administration? Because the drugs or the any formulation may be administered by various routes of administrations. Okay, number of routes are there for conventional drug delivery system. So same routes of administration may also be applicable for the administration of controlled drug delivery system. Few commonly used routes of administrations are these oral routes, that is a oral by oral cavity or by oral route, then intramuscular or subcutaneous, that is a parenteral routes, or transdermal routes of administration. So these are some commonly used routes of administration for controlled release drug delivery system. But instead of that, there are some routes of administration that are not commonly used, that are called as a rare use or rarely used routes of administration for controlled drug delivery system. So which are these rarely used routes of administration? Such as intranasal, vaginal, ocular, okay, rectal. So these are the few routes of administration that are not commonly used. Okay. So first, very first parameter, that is a molecular weight of the drugs. So as you know that molecular weight, so that molecular weight determines the whether the drug may get easily absorbed or not. Okay, or by which mechanism the drug may get transported through the biological membrane, that determines on the basis of a molecular weight. Okay, if the molecular weight of the drug it is a lower one, then its absorption is very fast. Okay, so we know that most of the drugs are absorbed by the passive diffusion instead of a active diffusion. Okay, so I already told you that those drugs which are absorbed by the passive diffusion or transported by passive diffusion, these are good candidate in the designing of controlled drug delivery systems. Okay, so mostly 95% of the drugs are absorbed by passive diffusion. Then the drug molecular size for the passive diffusion, it is 600 Dalton. So for the passive diffusion of the drug, the molecular weight it should be 600 Dalton. Okay, so the drug get easily absorbed. And if the drug may be transported by the ion transport mechanism, or if the molecule is a linear one or the branch one, it having 200 to 400 Daltons for the easily transportation. Okay, and those drugs which are having the large molecular weight, examples are, which are these drugs? Some proteins are there, some peptides are there. So these proteins and the peptides, these are the large molecular weight compounds. Okay, and as these are the large molecular weight compounds, it does not get easily absorbed. So these compounds, large molecular weight compounds, are a poor candidate in the designing of controlled release drug delivery systems. Is it clear? Then another one is, that is the aqueous solubility of the drug. So we know that the drug should be a soluble one. So the aqueous solubility of the drug, it should be 1 mg per ml for the designing of controlled drug delivery system, it should be 1 mg per ml. Okay, and the drug should not have the pH dependent solubility. pH dependent solubility means the solubility, pH dependent means the drug may be solubilized depending on the particular pH. Suppose the GI tract from stomach to the small intestine or the large intestine, it is having the variation in the pH. Okay, so drug should have the pH independent solubility. It does not only solubilize in the particular pH. Okay, only some drugs are only soluble in the stomach, some may only small intestine, and some may in a large intestine. This should not be happen. Drug should have the pH independent solubility. It should have pH independent solubility so that the drug may get absorbed from any region of the part of the body. Then another one is the drug with a pH dependent aqueous solubility such as phenytoin. So this may also be useful for the designing so that we can prepare the formulation so that the drug may only be absorbed from the particular site of region. Okay, and the drug with a solubility in the non-aqueous solvent. Okay, so such drugs are may be formulated into the parenteral release drug delivery system. Examples are some steroid one. Okay, and those drugs which are water insoluble, it is a poor candidate in the designing of controlled drug delivery systems. So this is the aqueous solubility that may be considered. So another one is another characteristic, that is the partition coefficient of the drugs. So as we know that partition coefficient. So what is the partition coefficient? It is nothing but a drug that may be absorbed, or that drug that may be uh, partition in between the two different phases. That is called as a partition coefficient. Okay, and the partition coefficient may be generally determines the lipophilicity of the drugs, and if the partition coefficient is a greater one, then the rate and extent of absorption is more. So the volume of distribution of such drug is also increases due to increasing in the partitioning of the drug in the various tissue. So it is important to know the partition coefficient of the drug, and on that basis Okay, another parameter, that is the drug pKa and ionization at the physiological pH. Drug pKa and ionization at the physiological pH. So the drug, we know that the drug which are in unionized forms are rapidly absorbed compared to the ionized form of a drug. Okay. So the for optimum absorptions, the drug should be in a unionized form or non-ionized form. So the pKa, that may be for the acidic drug, it should have pH in the range of 3 to 7.5, and pK for the basic drug, it should be pH 7 to 11. So such drugs are better or suitable candidate in the designing of controlled drug delivery system. Then drug stability. So as we know that the drug or any controlled release formulation, if it is administered, okay, so the drug, it should be stable into the GI tract, okay, or into the stomach. So there are some examples of the drug. If it is orally administered, they undergo the degradation, and if it is undergo the degradation, we cannot get 100% bioavailability or 100% pharmacological effect. One of the best example is a nitroglycerin. It is the drug that may be used in the angina attack or angina pectoris. So these drugs, if orally administered and it goes into the stomach, it undergoes rapidly degradation due to the first pass effect, and due to that, such drugs are not administered. So such drugs, those which are unstable into the gastric content or gastric not stable in the gastric environment, it is a poor candidate in the designing of controlled drug delivery system. Okay, so if such candidates are there, so we can formulate such drug in the controlled drug delivery system by using a different routes. Example is a transdermal routes of administration. Okay, so transdermal nitroglycerin patch may be prepared. Then mechanism and site of absorption. So drug that may be absorbed by the carrier mediated transport. I already told you in the beginning of this topic that those drugs which are carrier mediated transport or that transported using the carrier. So such drugs are poor candidate in the designing of controlled release drug delivery systems. And the drug which are absorbed through the window. Window means what? That is the called as the absorption window. So absorption window means it is the particular site of absorption, that is called as the absorption window. So some drugs is having the absorption window. Absorption window means what? Suppose some drugs are only absorbed from the stomach, so they are having the absorption window in the stomach. Some drugs may absorb from the intestine, small intestine, so they are having absorption window in the intestine. So drugs should not have the absorption window. So such drugs, that is called as a pH dependent solubility. So such drugs are poor candidate in the designing of control release drug delivery system. So one of the best example is a vitamin B. These are absorbed through the particular site of area of the gastric region. So that's why it is a poor candidate. Then biopharmaceutical aspects of routes of administration. So in the biopharmaceutical aspects, we already told that there are number of routes of administration. Okay, and these are we are here discussing. These are the commonly used routes of administration. Okay, so if we want to prepare the oral controlled drug delivery system, we should follow this criteria for the selections of the drugs. Okay, so drugs that must absorb through the entire GI tract. That is, the drug should not be absorbed from any or that may be absorbed from any region, that should not having the pH dependent solubility. Okay, then the main limitations of this is the transit time, because each part in the stomach as well as the intestine or the colon, it is having the mean transit time. So that for that particular time period, the formulation may be present. Okay, so mean transit time, it is a 14 hours for the GI tract. Then the duration of action of controlled drug delivery system may be extended from 12 hours to 24 hours by preparing oral controlled drug delivery systems. And this route is suitable for the drugs which are in a high dose, that is 1000 mg. So maximum dose that may be selected in the designing of controlled release drug delivery system, it should be a 1000 mg, that is a 1 gram. Okay. In case of parenteral, it may be vary, but by oral route, it should be a 1 gram. Okay. And those drugs which are having the pH dependent absorption as well uh, degraded by the GI fluid or enzyme, those drugs which are undergo the extensive pre-systemic metabolism, those drugs which are affected by the gut motility, or the drug that has an absorption window and are absorbed by the actively. So all these characteristics of the drug is a poor candidate for designing in oral controlled drug delivery systems. Is it clear? Then second routes of administration, it is a intramuscular routes of administrations. Okay. So intramuscular, intramuscular routes of administration here, in this case, these routes are suitable when when the duration of action is required from 24 hours to the 1 month. Okay. At that time, only a small amount of drugs, or about 2 ml or the 2 gram of drug, can be uh, useful in the designing of this type of formulations. Okay. And there are certain factors that may be considered in the release of controlled parenteral drug delivery system, such as routes, solubility at the particular tissue, molecular weight, partitioning coefficient, pK of the drug, and contact surface between the drug and the surrounding tissues. So attendance link is shared to you. Everyone fill this attendance link. Okay. Another parameter that is related to the routes of administration, it is a transdermal routes. Okay. So those drugs which are extensively undergo the metabolism when it is orally administered. So such drugs are uh, such drugs are formulated into the transdermal controlled drug delivery systems, and this route is for the uh, better for the small dose of the drugs. So those drugs which are having the small dose. So small dose drug can be easily fabricated in the form of transdermal drug delivery systems. And there are certain parameters that should be considered while uh, we have to fabricate transdermal drug delivery system. These are absorption of the drug partition coefficient, contact area, skin conditions, skin permeability, and the skin perfusion. Okay, because the skin condition may be vary person to person. Then second type of characteristics, that is a pharmacokinetic characteristics of the drug. So that is related to the ADME. So first characteristic is a absorption rate. So absorption rate of the drug, this release rate is always less than rate of absorption. The drug which is having the slow absorption, it is a poor candidate in the designing of controlled drug delivery systems. And aqueous soluble drug but poorly absorbed drugs such as decamethonium are unsuitable candidate, because since it is a slightly variation in the absorption may precipitate the toxicity. So that's why the drug should have a rapid absorption. Then elimination half-life. So half-life means what? It is the duration of action. If the drug is having the small half-life or half-life lower, then large amount of dose of the drug may be administered. Then if it is less than 2 hours, large amount of dose may be administered to maintain the higher release. And if the drug is having half-life in the range of 2 to 4 hours, then it is a suitable candidate. So we can formulate in the it into controlled release drug delivery system. And those drugs which are having the longer half-life, there is no need to prepare the controlled release drug delivery system, because this drug is having already long half-life. So it may be having longer period of time in the body. So there is no need to prepare the formulations of control release. Then rate of metabolism. So those drugs which are extensive metabolized are poor candidate, but the rate of metabolism, it should not be too rapid. Okay, and the rate of metabolism, it should be identical and it should be predictable when the drug is administered by the other routes. As well, the drug is not producing or inducing or inhibiting the metabolism. So such drugs are poor candidate in the designing of controlled release drug delivery systems. Okay. Then dosage form index. So it is the ratio of C max to the C, that is C minimum, CSS minimum, that is the peak to the valley. So dosage form index, it should be always 1. Dosage form index, it should be always 1. So these all parameters that is related to the pharmacokinetic. And the last one is pharmacodynamic characteristics of the drug. So these pharmacodynamic characteristics, that is a therapeutic dose of drug, therapeutic index or the range, and plasma concentration response relationship. Okay, so the dose of the drug, it should be always not more than 1 gram. Okay, if we consider the dose of the drug, it should be 1 gram. Okay, then therapeutic index, as we know that the therapeutic index, it may be useful. That is the therapeutic index, it is the ratio of dose that produces a toxicity to the dose that produces a clinical effect. That is the ratio of LD50 to ED50. So the therapeutic index or the therapeutic range for designing of this control release drug delivery system, it should be wide, it should not be a narrow one. If it is a narrow, then there may be the precipitation of the toxicity. Okay, so that's why in the designing of control release drug delivery system, whenever we check the therapeutic index of the drug, it should be a wide one. Okay, drug should have a wide therapeutic index. Okay, then the plasma concentration, it should be attained within a therapeutically safe and effective range. So this is necessary because such drugs have a toxic concentration near to their therapeutic range. So near to therapeutic range means what? These drugs is having narrow therapeutic index. So always therapeutic index, it should be a wide one. Okay. And the last parameter, it is a plasma concentration response relationship. So there are certain drugs. Okay. One of the example is a reserpine. So whose pharmacological activity is independent of its concentrations. Means the pharmacological activity of such drugs are not depend on its concentration. So such drugs are poor candidate for designing in the controlled drug delivery system. And therefore, such candidates